Here we go.
And Peyton is sexy. Peyton is sexy. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
All right. I don't even. He knows. He knows what he is. We've got 2 more divisions left to chit chat about. I say we start with the NL East just because of geographic proximity for you, and I think investment in my own personal interest. I think I would say the NL East more than the NL West.
Specifically the Mets for you.
Yeah, not just that. I got family in Philly, or from Philly, excuse me. Dan in our league is from Philly. He went to the same high school as my family went to.
Interesting. That's cool.
So I am very excited about the National League East this year for a couple of different reasons. First of all, anytime there's a division where you've got a true dogfight, I think it's going to be really interesting. How do you feel? Initial impressions about the NL East?
There's a very clear separation between the 2 tiers in the NL East, where there's 3 really good teams and 2 not very good teams. Where you have the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves, who are all teams that, barring insane injury luck, barring very bad luck throughout the season, these teams should make the playoffs going in. I think people can kind of find a consensus on that. And then you have the Nationals and the Marlins, which is
I feel bad putting the Nationals in the Marlins camp, though.
Well, they have very different future outlooks, but they're both going to be in the same tier of there's no chance that they are going to be 85-plus win teams this season.
No, not at all. Nationals, obviously, I guess we could start with them because I think they're going to be interesting. And I know that we've already made videos talking about them. But I actually had a very interesting conversation today that relates to my ball club and a player on their team. And so I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. I think Nate Lau for Robert Garcia. Is it Lau or Low? Which one is it?
Low.
It is Low.
Brandon is the only one who's Low. Everybody else is Low.
Because it's Josh and Nate.
Josh and Nate are brothers.
Yes. And they're Low.
Yes.
No. Yes. And it's Brandon Lau.
Yeah. Brandon is 7.
I'm there.
It's confusing because Brandon and Josh are on the same team.
Correct. And they're not the brothers.
Exactly.
So, I think the acquisition of Robert Garcia by Texas was great. I think trading Nate Lowe.
I think it's a win-win. I think the Nationals didn't need Garcia as much as the Rangers did, and the Nationals needed bats more than they needed a good reliever.
So, I wanted to ask you, because this came up, and I'm going to pull up the exact slash lines. We're going to play blind resume with 2 players from 2024. One of them is going to be Nate Lowe's slash line, which I think, maybe you'll be a little bit surprised at what it is, but I think it's within what he's been for his career. Is a career 122 WRC plus. Nate Lowe last year slashed 265, 361, 401. Okay, that's player A. That's Nate.
On base machine doesn't really slug.
But hits enough home runs. Does enough of everything where you're like, that's a good baseball player.
Above average defender. He's just a very solid player.
Correct. The other slash line I would give you is 278, 342, 417 from 2024. I've given you a couple hints already.
Is that Brendan Donovan?
Yes. That is Brendan Donovan in 2024. The reason this was brought up is because the Cardinals said they were going to put Brendan Donovan in the 3 slot on opening day, and there was some harumph about it. And then I thought, what's the Nationals opening day lineup going to look like? I sure bet Nate Lowe is probably hitting 3rd in their lineup. So I just find
probably go Cruz, Wood, Lowe.
That's what I would do, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't hate the top half of this Nationals lineup. That was obligatory, a little bit of a Brendan Donovan plug, but I just thought it was interesting because I think that the national perception of those 2 players is probably a little bit different, when in reality, they look very different, and the way that they get to that is very different. Yeah. But the fact that they
have this kind of similar profile of their offenses their offense is built up around plate discipline.
Yes. It's just shocking with how much low walks versus the fact that like Donovan only has a 7% walk rate. It's just he paper cuts you to death in every single at bat.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I like
Brendan Donovan's offensive approach reminds me a lot of Brett Gardner, where it's like he doesn't walk that much, but he will foul off 6 2-strike pitches and just piss off a pitcher.
All that to say, I think it can be really beneficial, though, especially if, like we talked about, we think that they should have guys like Cruz and Wood hitting at the top of the lineup. Not that they don't have great approaches, and they'll grow into those for sure. But I think the value of having a profile like Nate Lowe is that it ensures that you're maybe not going to have super fast innings every single time. You're going to have somebody that's going to be able to work the count and ensure that pitchers aren't just kind of mowing you through to start a game. And I think that can really become impactful for them second and third time through the order in particular.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm interested in this Nationals team. I'm going to avoid being like, they're my dark horse to be good, because I feel like a bit of a hot commodity of a take right now. I think a lot of people are just kind of waving at them. Definitely. It's like,
they're the like, team that can be this good. Team is sneaky good. And it's like, is it really that sneaky if everybody thinks they're going to be sneaky good?
Exactly. So I think that it's a lineup that it's going to have a little bit of work to do. Like, what's Keibert Ruiz look like this year? How legitimate is Luis Garcia? But I don't know. You kind of go position by position.
Abrams going to be able to stick it short is what my big question, and I don't think he will. But
I would love – they honestly – I know we joked about they were in the race for fourth place like the Giants were, and we kind of debated those two teams a little while ago. Can you imagine if they had signed Willy Adames and just put C.J. Abrams in the center?
That
lineup – I'd have been – I mean, third base they have to figure out, but like –
Well, I was just thinking slide Abrams over to third because I think he would have been fine there. And Jacob Young, I think, is valuable enough as being an insane defender in center that he'll provide you enough value to offset his noodle bat.
Yeah, we'll see. He did the classic. Jacob Young was one of the biggest best shape of his life offenders in spring training this year.
Yeah.
There was a one tweet of him,
I saw that.
Where it's like everyone was like 15 homers inbounded.
Yeah.
He's figured it out.
And it's he's gonna be like 11.
If that. I mean, I think he had like 4 last year.
He's gonna put up like a 79 WRC plus, but he's gonna be worth 2.8 WAR. And it's
if we want to have some real fun, I know we just talked about how the Nationals lineup has become a group of names that, if not immensely talented immediately, are at least somewhat inspiring and encouraging. I'd like to have some fun, and now that we are as close as we are to opening day and the start of the season, or by the time this comes out, we may be in the start of the season. I would like you to name Fangraphs roster resource projected lineup for the Miami Marlins going into opening day. If you can name more than 4 that's projected to start, I will be quite impressed.
Well, there's Xavier Isaac.
No.
Or Xavier Edwards.
There you go. Yep. He is projected to hit leadoff and play shortstop, so you got one.
Yeah. You don't have Jake Berger anymore. Stowers
did, in fact, make the rotation of guys. He's projected to hit 5th and be in right field for them.
Conine, did he make the roster?
Conine also earned it. He will be in left. Hilarious, by the way. He was also a Blue Jays draft pick. They can't help themselves.
Is Agustin Ramirez on the opening day roster?
No, he's not.
No, I doubt it. I don't think he would be because he barely played in AAA last year.
I'm cheating this a little bit. It's worth noting for you to help you with this that this will be a really impressive pull because Connor Norby is injured to start the year.
Yeah, so I knew Norby was hurt, and I know Jesus Sanchez is hurt.
Correct as well.
Yeah.
You've already got the corners in the outfield. Center field is all you've got left at this point. They have two guys projected to have a WRC plus over 100.
Have I named either of them?
You've gotten both already. Or I'm sorry, you've only gotten one. You have Xavier Edwards.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like I'm missing something obvious.
I will give you how they were acquired even for this, because it legitimately is very tough. Projected to hit second in center field, claimed off of waivers from San Francisco in August, was originally a first-round pick by the Tigers in 2014.
Oh, I should know this then.
In fairness to this guy, projected for 1 FWAR, a 93 WRC plus, so projected to be a not so bad ball player.
Did he ever make the majors with the Tigers?
Yes, parts of 3 seasons. He spent 2023 in Washington.
Is it Akil Baddoo?
Was with 3 teams in 2024.
Is it Akil Baddoo?
It is not Akil Baddoo. It is Derek Hill.
Oh, I probably would not have gotten
that. That's why we're giving a lot of hints for this. Third, acquired from the Cubs in December of 2024, originally signed as an undrafted free agent by the Cubs in 2020. Your other hint for this was the heir apparent for Frank Schwindel, and then was horrible in the 2 opportunities that he got in Chicago.
Oh, it's Matt Mervis, right?
Matt Mervis is correct. Cleanup. This is the guy that is projected to, I believe, the only other over 100. He was purchased from Oakland in February of 2024. He was originally an 18th round pick by the Athletics. Brief stats for him: has parts of 2 seasons with Oakland, and then played about a half season last year for Miami, /276, 357, 461. So it wasn't too bad, actually.
Is this what position is this?
DH/first base / maybe third if in a pinch. Here comes the
Jonah Bride.
Jonah Bride. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted for that, but I can't sing.
I doubt we'll get copyrighted.
No, it's gotta be somewhat on key for you to be hit with a copyright strike. So we should be all right. This fine young man up next. To be clear, by the way, I'm not slandering any of these players. In fact, there's a couple guys on here. I think half their lineup is projected to put up at least 1 FWAR. They are not bad ball players, but the
Marlins haven't been doing much spending in the free agent market. Is
correct.
Definitely something.
I think the guy we're about to talk about very much has a home on a roster and on a Major League Baseball team. Maybe as more of a utility bench guy. Maybe not starting 150 games at second base.
Oh, is it Otto?
It is Otto Lopez.
Yeah.
Nice pull. I will say Otto Lopez, 2.5 WAR last year in 100.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah. Definitely.
He had some really good BABIP luck, which helped him out, but I think he's solid. I don't think he's bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I'll shoot you straight too. He had a great spring, 9% K rate and 11%. 11% K rate and a 9% walk rate in spring. I don't know how sustainable that is, but it was 6% in the regular season. So if he can walk at that rate, there may be something there. Maybe that means he pushes an OPS that starts with a 7.
Yeah.
if that's the case, though, and he can steal 20, 25 bases with efficiency like he did last year, you could be looking at a sneaky.
Isn't he elite defender at second?
I
feel like I remember him putting up double-digit OAA last year.
Yeah, because I would guess that the only way that he really got it was through the defense of 9 DRS and 17 OAA.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd take that back. Maybe he should be starting. Probably a 9 hitter.
Yeah, but I feel like he's kind of he's slotting himself into the Andres Jimenez archetype.
If he can
so insanely good defensively that he will start even if he's
guys, he's 26 too. If he could, what were the Giants doing putting that kid on waivers? Who's playing second base for them? I do not believe in
Fitzgerald.
Tyler Fitzgerald. I will put that on the record right now.
Probably Casey Schmidt is the backup.
Oh my gosh! For those of you that, if you are a Giants fan watching this, or
I feel like there's one
Tyler
more.
Fitzgerald stock investor, I highly encourage you look at his second half.
Actually, we'll get to it later. We are.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna talk about it later. That's what we call in show business a way for you to stick around. The last two people that you have, one of them was a 4th round pick by Miami in 2018. A guy who, you know, I hate to be like, oh yeah, I might be in on his replacement, but they do have a guy in the minors that I'm a little bit more intrigued in. He is their catcher.
Well, the guy in the minors that I'm intrigued in is Augustine because he's a stud.
That was what I was hinting at, but this guy should definitely be his backup because he is a phenomenal defender.
I'm gonna need some help because I'm not gonna remember it.
It is Nick Fortes.
Yeah. Okay. I might have gotten that with a little bit of time, but it not worth it for this.
No. You know, but Nick Fortes is definitely somebody that I think. Again, this is what I mean with the Marlins. It's like this is just how a rebuild works. Where I'm like, you know, Otto Lopez could become like a 9 hitter, like Xavier Edwards. He very well could.
They have decent surrounding pieces, but they don't have the pillars of a great team to put them.
Correct.
Around.
And then in the 9 spot, this is a guy I was very in on. Okay, he was acquired from the Padres in July of 2024. Went to Duke. I'm like very in on this guy, mainly because in 2023, I'm going to give you this guy's slash and like what he did overall in the minors at age 22. So at 3 levels, single A, high A, and double A. This is 2023. This guy slashed 308, 393, 538 with an 11% walk rate and a 17% strikeout rate, 23 bombs, 22 steals. And I was super in. Unfortunately, his 2024 in the minor leagues, much less successful. Only rocked a 94 WRC plus at AA and AAA. Had a brief cup of coffee with the Padres. It did not go well. Had a solid spring, and we'll see.
I feel like I've heard his name a million times over the spring. Is this the guy who's been putting up like 120 miles an hour?
In the Dynasty League that Drew and I play in, I rostered this guy. Not when Drew was in the league, but at one point I did roster this guy. That's how much I believed in him. Think when Manny Machado was maybe going to miss a decent amount of time to start 2024.
Is it Wagaman?
No, he's projected for the bench. It's Graham Pauley.
Yes. Okay.
Who I'm not ready to give up on. I know he had a tough 2024, but I don't know. I'm not selling my stocks quite yet. I know he really only has the job right now because Norby's out for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know.
Norby looked great at the end of last year.
I also just I'm not a Matt Mervis believer, so my hope is that he kind of crushes it. And then when Norby gets healthy, they just slot Bride to first, maybe DH Pauly or some combination like that, and figure it out from there. The bench is a guy named Liam Hicks is their backup catcher. I haven't heard of that guy in my life. He was Rule 5. He was a Rule 5 pick from Detroit. So if Scott was here, actually, you know what? I'm going to text friend of the program, Scott Bentley, and I'll have a Liam Hicks opinion in about 90 seconds. The other part of the bench, Javier Sanoja. Sanoja. Sanoja? Is that what we think we're going with?
That would be my guess. Or just Sanoja. But I am not the man who will be giving you a solidified opinion on this name.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I got that text fired off. My opinion on Liam Hicks will be arriving. Scott's also biased for catchers, so we'll see. He's literally already.
So am I. I love good defensive catchers.
He's at least read the text. He may just ask me if I'm an insane person. That's why I'm asking. And then there's Eric Wagaman and Dane Myers. I don't have opinions. This rotation, by the way, right now looks atrocious.
Yeah, it's Sandy and some bums.
I mean, Valente was interesting last year, but just the metrics were not great.
Yeah,
he can strike guys out a little bit, but I don't know. Well, that kind of remains to be seen. Max Meyer, I mean, I'm interested in, but like he is 26 at this point, which I think kind of shocks people.
Yeah, it feels like he was like the up and coming prospect for about 8 years.
Correct. Also, like with Beloso, like the whole reason that I even made the comment about the strikeouts is that it looked great. It looked solid in spring as well. The strikeouts were more reasonable. It also came with like a 9.5 ERA in spring. So
thank you.
I may be collectively forgetting all the runs he was giving up, and I was just like, "That's a nice strikeout."
Yeah,
and perhaps I looked away from it out. Also, the official Liam Hicks take is in. LOL, ask a Rangers fan. We got him at the deadline in 2024, and he was gone in December in the Rule 5 draft. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Tigers.
Liam Hicks' opinion has not arrived.
Yeah, I mean, it's arrived. That kind of seals it for me.
Yeah. But basically, what we know about the Marlins, Sandy's going to be gone at the deadline, like almost assuredly.
But where?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it should be the Orioles. It should be.
What is his contract? Like, is it like it's so team friendly too?
Yeah, it's like 6 for
5 for 56, and there's a club option for 2027.
Yeah,
Lord above.
If the Orioles don't trade for him, Michael Elias should be like drawn and quartered.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's too good of a fit for them not to do it, which makes me feel like they won't.
I mean, it's also just like, yeah, this has got me fired up. I'm like,
yeah, I could see Sandy going to the Rangers, honestly, if they have injuries, because they have. All right,
so let's say Molly's bumped from the rotation and at full health.
They trade like
if
Leiter
you play it out from a sheer talent perspective, there's a world in which that rotation is DeGrom, Sandy, Evaldi, Rocker, Leiter.
Whatever.
Maybe Leiter goes in that trade. I would guess it'd be like Leiter, Walcott, and Filler or something. Yeah, I could honestly though, I'll see I think Bradford would probably go in that trade too.
Yeah.
Just because young enough in control, we would want. Yeah,
and has been effective in wearing multiple hats.
Yeah, and I will say too, shout out Ryan Weathers. He'll be back.
Yeah. He looked excellent this spring, and it's a real shame that he's hurt.
Yeah, and so I think that and Cal Quantrill, I think, is like the definition of like what you want on a non-contending team.
Yeah, he's like the perfect buy low, and if he has a good start, you can trade him at the deadline for a prospect or two.
Right, absolutely. I think I don't have an issue with them signing.
I wish bad teams would do more of that, honestly, where they sign a player who's kind of at their lowest and trading them at the deadline to increase the speed of their rebuild. But a lot of owners don't want to spend that money, which sucks.
The bullpen. It's a bullpen. You haven't heard of them, and you probably won't. If one of them's good. Congratulations, you are now
the only guy I like on their bullpen is hurt, and it's Nardi.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see.
Trade for him all of last year. He's really good.
Yeah, we'll see what we end up doing. I mean, technically they have Victor Mesa Jr. on the protected major league list, even though he got optioned like 3 weeks ago on Roster Resource.
Interesting.
Second funniest name in his household. If you know, you know.
Well, isn't there like Victor Mesa?
That is the funniest one, yes. All right, we've touched on the bottom feeders. Respectfully.
Which of the three?
Dare I say the Phillies are finishing third? No, I don't. I dare say the Braves finished third.
I think it's the other way around. I think the Mets are finishing third.
The top half of the lineup is so good. And also, when you talk about
the Phillies pitching is the Phillies rotation is disgusting.
It is. Let's talk about the Phillies then, because I mean I like the Phillies, but I do have questions because for all the talk
their
about
outfield is just disgustingly bad.
Well, Cubs fans, call me biased. Reds fans really got in the comments on me. Listen, there's a lot of Terry Francona shooters online, and I love the guy, but he's not magically making them 10 wins better. Like, what are we doing? Like, also, oh my gosh, who's their top prospect that they were didn't give a rotation spot to, and then also got hurt? Rhett Lauder.
Oh yeah, Lauder.
Yeah, that guy shoved for you last year against us.
I mean, he's hurt, so it doesn't really end up mattering.
He didn't have a spot. He said they were sending him down to AAA, which is
there's no way he shouldn't have been on the opening day roster, especially with how bad the bottom end of their rotation is.
Yeah, good luck. Nick Martinez.
He would have been the second.
Is Miles Michaelis in a different coat of paint? Good luck getting another 3 ERA year out of that dude, man. Good luck.
Lauder is talent and pitchability.
Yes,
the second best pitcher.
I agree. I said I'm all in. I'm all in on Lauder in that. I think Burns is he's not ready.
I think Green, Lauder, Burns is setting them up for a really nice future as even in Great American Small Park, their rotation could be really good in the future.
Absolutely.
Building around those three guys.
The same kind of questions that we have, the same sort of questions we have at the bottom half of the Mets lineup and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a brief tangent, but the same questions that people can ask about the Mets bottom half of the lineup. I have similar questions with the Phillies.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm all in on a Max Kepler RBW season. I've always loved Max Kepler. I don't know why. He's a great buy low. Shocked the worst team didn't do that.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a team's deadline flip kind of guy. But good for him. The Phillies just kind of said, we'll just skip that part where we don't have to give up a 19-year-old lottery ticket. So, but yeah, I mean, Brandon Marsh is interesting. I like the player. I wish he would be a little bit more dry, literally. But he's got a 580 career OPS against left-handed pitching, and he's the everyday guy in center now. And
who's the noodle bat center fielder that they have? Who's
Johan Rojas?
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, I like Marsh, but again, it comes down to how much is that going to impact his bottom line? Is that going to get into his head even when he does go up against righties?
Yeah, I thought the Phillies were going to end up trading for Taylor Ward at some point. I thought that was a pretty good move for them. Still could, but they
have to play center. That's the issue. There's no center fielder to trade for. Cedric Mullins,
Luis Robert.
Oh, true, but I guess it's Dombrowski. And he just doesn't care.
That's my case for why they could trade for Robert is Dombrowski will just sell the entire farm system sometimes.
Is there I'm trying to think from a service time standpoint as well. Is there anyone that obviously Aiden Miller's a name that come to mind because they're White Sox. Correct me if I'm wrong, fans. White Sox fans. They don't have a real third baseman. It's if Montgomery doesn't make it as a shortstop, he'd play third. That's, I believe, the best third base option would be if Montgomery is just too large.
Ryan Ramos.
Yeah, they gave Ramos a look. I think he deserves another one, but I'm not investing stock. I'll put it that way. I got my eye on it, but I'm not making an investment. I don't know. It just and again, it could also just be the other thing is I'm stringing
if Robert has a great first half, I could see the Phillies saying we'll give you Painter for Robert straight up.
But dare I say the Sox have enough pitching prospects?
I think they have a lot, but there's no
got a lab, dude. Like they might have enough guys. So if I'm the Sox, I'm like, no,
like,
we need hitting.
Maybe, but like,
and I know beggars can't necessarily.
They have they have 4 guys that I like, and one of them is out for the season with Tommy John. The other 3 are the 2 lefties, Schultz and Smith.
Yeah,
and then Grant, whatever his name is.
Grant Taylor? Yeah. But I mean,
like, it's Andrew Painter. I think. I'm not suggesting
he's not worth the acquisition. I just like, and I guess they do have like Montgomery. They've got Montgomery.
They have Montgomery, and they have Teal now, and they have Maedroff, who could be
Taylor. They need infielders, and that's what the Phillies don't have. The Phillies have like Aiden Miller as a prospect.
Yeah, they have Miller and they have Kaba, and that's it for. Or did they trade Kaba? They traded Kaba for Luzardo, didn't they?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We're going to publish this. Come find me in 12 months when Kyle Tucker signs with the Phillies. That's all I got to say on that one. I don't think they're going to trade for Luis Robert because they've got other plans. In my personal opinion.
That'd be interesting.
Because Kepler's on a 1-year. And Kepler's on a 1-year.
Sucks.
Castellanos deal expires at the end of 2026. Schwarber's deal, I think, is also done at the end of this year. So there's a way in which the Phillies
they could definitely shed enough payroll to go after Tucker. Like, that would be super easy for them.
Correct. And so I think that's part of why they've also been shopping Bohm so aggressively. Because of the ARB increase. Perhaps the Yankees would be interested in Alec Bohm.
I was thinking about it. The asking
I don't
price
like Alec Bohm
insane,
at all,
though.
to be clear.
I don't like him too, but our options right now going into the season are Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswald Peraza, and maybe like I've seen Eguy Padres third baseman who hits lefties really well.
Eguy Rosario, yeah.
Yes. I've been seeing like word about him because he didn't make their roster and is out of options. And he hits lefties.
That might be a passing 9:30 p.m. Central Time bomb. You can find that out in 30 minutes. But I don't know. Bohm makes like 7.5 this year, which like if you're the Yankees, you can offset that by like reliever swapping some money around. I'm sure you can figure that out. But yeah, I don't know. I think Tucker is going to go to the
Cruz
Phillies
or something.
It's a very Dombrowski move. I also think from the Phillies standpoint, like Turner's 31, but he's got the big contract. Harper's 32. Like the window with the pitching is still open. It would be a great way to just extend the shelf life of the window of contention in a way that I think.
But I don't know how much of an upgrade getting Tucker and losing Schwarber is. Because Schwarber is like so much of their offensive production. Like I think it's definitely an upgrade, but I don't know how much of an upgrade it is.
Oh, I mean, there's a world in which you eat there. It's Dombrowski. He'll eat 75% of the money to move Castellanos.
Yeah.
Like there's a world in which
he'll straight up cut him. Like I would not be surprised if they just DFA'd him.
Yeah, I mean, he's also the kind of guy that, do the Angels want to pay Nick Castellanos in 2026 to play left field to get prospects? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like you got to eat something. Like we'll pay Castellanos his deal if you throw in Aiden Miller.
Because like that's what I mean. It's one of those situations where it's flexible. I mean, I'm going to go to their.
It's like I mean, that's basically what the Cubs did with Bellinger. Obviously, Bellinger is better than Castellanos, but
the
Yankees didn't give up anything for Bellinger just because of the money.
Right. So all right, you've got Okay, well, I also didn't realize Real Muto is a free agent as well. So, in all honesty, yeah, I didn't realize just how easy this is going to be for the Phillies to acquire Kyle Tucker. They're already freeing up without even touching anything.
Yeah, probably 22
like plus 43. They're already freeing up about $65 million off payroll.
Yeah, that's less than what Tucker's going to get. He's going
to
get.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it's unreasonable to say to Schwarber, like, hey, listen, they can keep payroll about the same and do the following and just say, hey, we're going to give Tucker like 40 mil AAV. Could you come back for 20?
Yeah, we'll give you 5 for 110 or something.
That's what I mean. Like, do you want to come back for like 20, 25 mil? Like, can we
and give him a couple extra years than he should?
That's what I mean. Like, hey man, you could probably go out and get 4 for 110. You know, you could probably go get something in that neck of the woods. How about like 5 for 125? How about something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Where they'll just
definitely could happen.
They just keep
and like they're paying Kepler like 10.
Yeah,
so and that can just go.
That just gets rinsed off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Romano's 8.5. That's rinsed off. Joe Ross, that's 4. That gets rinsed off. It's not coming back.
Yeah, they're shedding a lot of payroll. They've like Dombrowski did a good job of like kind of staggering all their contracts so that they would kind of end in a similar time. So they're
you have time. You got time to kind of look around and assess for sure.
Yeah,
and I think this is the
Phillies are going to need to make an outfield move.
And that's why I think the Tucker thing just makes so much sense because it's who's got the financial means to do it, who's got the willingness, approval from ownership. They check all those boxes to me more than any other team does in terms of payroll. Like obviously big the Dodgers or the Yankees because they financially can do it. But like we've heard comments from Cashman about hitting like third apron and also like that defensive line.
The thing that could kind of put the Yankees in the race is Stanton might retire.
I mean, yeah, but good luck getting him to walk away from that. You have to buy him out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and like
I think he also wants
the
to make
the Yankees are also losing 18 from Stroman. They're losing 28 from Bellinger. And they're losing 10 from Goldschmidt or 12 from Goldschmidt. They're losing
he'll be getting re-signed to 5 years, $150 million in the offseason. So let's pump the brakes on AL MVP. They will, in fact, be renaming the stadium after him by the trade deadline. So I doubt. I do think they're going to bring him back for 2026. Like I think he's going to.
I think Goldschmidt might end up having the exact same Yankee tenure as Anthony Rizzo.
Except it'll be
the first 2 years are exceptional, and then after that he's like on contract for another 2 years, and he just like doesn't play because he's hurt.
There's definitely a defensive thing that Goldie's still got. Goldie's a pretty good base runner. I think
when Rizzo showed up, he was a good defender, and he fell off a cliff.
Well, that's the thing about Goldie. Goldie does show up. So, yeah, I don't know. I just, like the Yankees are always going to float around as an option. I just, Philly, it's a need.
The reason I think the Yankees might also be interested is they lost some of their swagger, missing out on Juan Soto, and I feel like they might be trying to swing around the metaphorical whip to try and
it gets
get
tough
the swagger
with the
back.
Defensive alignment. Like the Vlad pitch is a much easier sell for me than the Tucker pitch.
I think Vlad's going to get extended in the next.
I do as well. I'm just saying if that doesn't happen, that makes way more sense. Of you just let Goldschmidt walk, first base is open, and you know.
I think Murakami is going to end up
base if you're really in a pinch. Like if it really comes down to it, if you're the Yankees, you'd be like,
yeah.
God,
I don't know how good he'll end up being, but I think Murakami is going to be a Yankee.
Oh no, he'll be a Dodger, and I'm not.
Dodgers don't have a spot for him.
Yeah, they do. Third base.
Muncy's under contract.
Until when?
I don't know.
That's where we play guess that contract figure right now. I love that this is just look up the computer time forever while we're recording this. Oh yeah, Max Muncy's got a club option for $10 million next year. Bye-bye. He's gone.
Okay, Yankees are signing Max Muncy.
Sure.
I would love that.
That actually, I would, if they just brought back Goldschmidt and got Muncy, I think that'd be phenomenal. Yeah.
Muncy's a guy I've wanted on the Yankees for.
But I'm not just saying Murakami to the Dodgers because I'm like, oh, they just get everybody. They're the team that desperately needs the investment in it. While we're talking about the Phillies, they're the other Murakami team. So that's kind of where I view that happening. It's Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees in some form or rationale. But I think if you're Philadelphia, they would be they'd much rather prefer, I think, to get Tucker and let someone else get Murakami as like the
I mean, Murakami is definitely not the player that Tucker is. The whiff rate concerns me a lot with him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The power is going to be there because he's hitting 35, 40 home runs in a league that has basically dead balls. So like if he was playing with MLB baseballs against NPB pitching, he'd be hitting 50 home runs. But the hit tool is really concerning. He's striking out at a 30+% clip against worse pitching than major leagues.
I mean, it is tough to project hitting for NPB. I remember when Ohtani came over as a prospect and I was a rather uninformed 17-year-old. And I believe I was like, yeah, I think he'll be like an above average hitter and like an all-star pitcher. I believe that is what I like guessed for his career, which
is the opposite.
And it's the opposite. And I'll be honest, I didn't call him a bum. So I'm okay with that, but I didn't know if he would. I didn't think he would stick as a two-way. I thought he'd pick one or the other. I thought he would. That was the big thing that I said. I think that he'll do both, and I think that he's going to sacrifice. I thought the hitting would suffer because the pitching would like develop really well. I was like, I think he'll
a little bit of the other way around.
It is the other way around, and so I definitely shot the under on his hitting ability.
So Phillies, we did.
Like I said, they're TBD, but I'm glad we talked about Murakami because they're going to be somebody that in about 8 months we're going to be going, where's Alec Boehm going to play?
Yeah, exactly.
Ni hao, if you ask certain Phillies fans. And if you ask other Phillies fans.
Ni hao, Oakland.
And if you ask other Phillies
fans. The Sacramento A's.
No, we were calling them the Oakland Athletics. Actually, we're going to make that PSA now here. As a creative director.
We will be dead naming that franchise.
Yes, dead naming is never appropriate except one time, and it's for the Oakland Athletics.
Real.
I will hear no shit from anyone.
I still sometimes accidentally call the Raiders the Oakland Raiders instead.
As you should. It's the Oakland Athletics
and the Chargers. The Chargers, I do it too.
God damn it!
I do it with the Chargers too. San Diego instead of LA.
That's even worse. Actually,
I don't understand what there was no reason for them to leave San Diego. In my opinion,
no,
they had such a good fan.
Billionaires crying poor, dude. What's new? Speaking of billionaires, the Mets, Juan Soto. When it's all said and done,
that's the thing. Is the Mets Juan Soto. Their lineup's going to be great. They're going to score a lot of runs. They're going to hit a lot of homers. They're going to play good defense at shortstop and bad defense everywhere else. And pitching.
Nimmo is a good defender.
When he has both legs working.
Yeah,
which I think he will. End of last year.
Yeah, it was tough.
He was it was hard to watch in the playoffs because he was limping around everywhere.
Yeah, I think as well. What I will say, do you know what he slashed in spring training?
I mean, he slugged like 800, didn't he?
345, 424, 621.
Yeah.
Seems to be back to business as usual for Mr. Brandon Nimmo. I'm not sure. He also had a horrible BABIP luck. His BABIP was like 50 points below his career average, and his batting average was about 35 points below his career average. So it's not a one-to-one translation, but I think that's a fair thing.
I'm interested to see who they play in center because I think Tyrone Taylor is
Siri, right?
I think Tyrone Taylor is a better player than Siri, but I think with Soto being such a bad defender in Citi Field and right field, I think Siri is going to have to play because he's such a great defender that he can kind of pick up the slack.
Man, I like Jose Siri. I like him.
I like him as a person. I think he's a fun baseball player, But I don't think I think obviously.
Let me ask you this though. I mean, the guys played essentially, I'll call it 3 seasons. He's got at least 100 games played in all these seasons. But his FWAR in those 3 seasons, 1.8, 2.6, 1.9. Is the bat going to be wildly
He's a great defender in center field, and he will hit home runs. He won't do anything else on offense, but he'll hit home runs.
Nolan Gorman is salivating at this dude's career line, brother. 210, 266, 408. Woo! 6% walk rate, 36% K rate.
Yeah.
Hooey! You know how he makes up
Jose Siri. He's going up there and he's hacking.
Buddy has a 200 career ISO, though.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, he's going up there and he's taking his hacks.
He will
probably not make contact. He's taking his hacks.
He's playing beer league softball every day.
Yeah, exactly.
That man's
bat flipping on racists.
Yes, correct. This is the best burrito I've ever eaten. Let's talk about Brett Beatty. I want to talk about Brett Beatty.
I'm not fully bought in on the spring training numbers because he was great in spring last year. But he's looked really good, and his mechanics look really good, and I think he's an interesting player for this season. He's definitely a guy to watch.
Well, I think particularly when you have do they not have – where am I looking at this? Oh, yeah. I was right. McNeil did sprain his oblique. Yeah, he's going to get some run. So he's going to have the opportunity and the ability to make an impact for this team, especially with – I guess talk about Nick Madrigal in the big 2025. He's out for the year. Ronnie Mauricio still come back from the torn ACL.
Luis Angel Acuna is bad at baseball.
Well, it's not bad at baseball. He's in timeout. So he literally has been put in timeout.
He's lazy. He is literally reported from the nicest guy in baseball that he's lazy and refuses and doesn't want to be there.
A man I would go to war for. Francisco Lindor saying this guy is a bum Which also I find very funny when you're in the heat of a battle to be a guy's double play partner and you're not putting the effort in.
Yeah.
The guy who I understand Soto makes more money. It's Francisco Lindor's team. So I find that mind-boggling. I find it mind-boggling that he is not going max effort and, good morning, Mr. Lindor. You got a brown.
Bringing him coffee in the morning.
Not even a rookie hazing thing. That's the boss. That's your boss. Yeah. You're a second baseman. If anything, we can get into positional politics if we really want to. If you're a second baseman, the shortstop, that's your boss. That's who you report to. He tells you where to move. He tells you how we're that is your
especially
boss.
When it's Francisco Lindor. It's
correct. There is
the nicest guy in baseball who is also a superstar and was second in MVP voting.
Is there Altuve just moved to left. So I'm going to go ahead and say I cannot name a single baseball team where the second baseman tells the shortstop what to do. I can't name
the Tigers for now.
I don't think Gleyber Torres can tell anybody what to do on defense.
It's Trey Sweeney. I mean, not on defense, but in terms of importance to a team.
Sure. I mean more directing the traffic on the infield.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you think of the elite defensive second baseman, one of them plays with an elite defensive shortstop, Horner and Swanson.
Right. Exactly. Or
maybe Stott and Turner. Because Turner makes a lot of money, but Turner's not a good defender.
Ray Turner says you shut up because I make a lot more money than you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what'd you drive in with? Volkswagen Jetta? Nice, dude. Yeah, you're gonna cover second for this guy. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm not saying Trey's a bad guy, but he can just do that. And Stott's kind of got to go. All right, I guess I am.
I'm gonna eat that.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I find that nuts, and I think that gives
Acuna showing up and being what was it? He looks bored.
Yes, and Lindor said that he thinks he plays bored in the minors as well, which means he's keeping tabs.
Yeah, exactly. He looked bored in the minors last year. He looked bored when he came up, which is crazy to me. How are you going to get called up to the majors from the minor leagues where you're not playing well, and then still be bored in the major leagues? That's crazy to me.
Yeah. So I think that gives Brady a leash, and especially when you're a former first rounder, like we can, as people that maybe care about the analytics of baseball a little bit more than the average fan of people that watch our content and those that work for us. I still ascribe to the fact of defense, contracts, and how you were acquired sometimes just matters more. And Beatty being a former first rounder, like he gets the extra chance. He gets the extra opportunity.
Fans like him.
Right. The fans like him. Your shorts, your
people want him to succeed. And so
the locker room leader prefers you. Like he's going to get some run.
And I mean, like, there's not that much of an option. Like they don't have that. They're not spoiled for choice at second base.
No, I mean, it's Jeff McNeil when he comes back, but I don't know. I mean,
they could play McNeil and left. Like,
plus, didn't he and Lindor? They had a polite discussion about an animal they saw in the clubhouse. That was the story, wasn't it, with those two? Do you not remember this? That. There was a report, I believe it was McNeil and Lindor, that they got in a fight in the tunnel during a game. And they got asked about it post game, and they're like, "Oh no, we were just having like a verbal argument about." He thought it was I thought it was a raccoon, and he thought it was like a rat that we saw in the tunnel. I believe that's the story. Editor, insert what actually happened here, but I believe it was. I know McNeil was involved. I think it was Lindor. It was a couple years ago. So. Again, that's another one where I'm going to side with Mr. Lindor. So, like I said, Brett Beatty.
How many arguments are there where you wouldn't?
Yeah, there'd have to be a second baseman that also has like a heart of gold and, magically puts up 6 more a year.
Maybe as a member of your family or something.
Yeah. I don't think my left-handed pitching cousin's converting to second base.
Yeah, I doubt it.
The righty could. But I don't think the lefty is. The bottom half of this lineup will get better as they get healthier. They're also a Luis Robert Jr. potential acquirer.
I don't see it because I don't think their farm is going to be good enough to compete in terms of offers.
That part of it is fair.
Because like, who do they have to offer? Like Sproat, Jet Williams. That's not going to be anywhere near enough.
I mean,
compared to as long as Robert has like a decent first half, it's not going to be enough to compete.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I don't believe that will happen. I think that dude is beyond checked out. I'll be honest as well, dude. Ryan Clifford can bang.
Yeah, he's a bat
for sure. And like Drew Gilbert, I'm still like a believer in. It is a lot of like ancillary pieces though. Like that part of it is not wrong.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just saying the Mets do not have this souped up system where they can go out and make a big trade.
You know what's funny though? This could be a situation where like if Brett Beatty is having a good first half, that like he is part of that trade.
Yeah,
because they're just. I
could also see them trying to get a part of an Eric Fetty or a Sandy Alcantara or Dylan Cease trade because the Mets are going to need starting pitching.
They feel like they are ticketed for an Eric Fetty type. To me,
yeah, because I don't think they'll have the prospects to compete for Alcantara or Cease or King, whoever's available at the top end of the starting pitching market. Just because their farm isn't very good, like in terms of rankings among other major league teams, they have good players, but they have none of the top end guys.
There's also a world. Oh boy, I sure hope that this happens. I'd love to get him off my ball club, but like. The only reason Miles Michaelis is even playing for the Cardinals is because he soaks innings. Like, if the Mets want to just truly bargain bin it at the deadline, and he's got like a 4 ERA, like it might just be like, all right, we can just throw.
If they weren't crosstown rivals, I was thinking the Mets would take on Stroman. At like early
Yankees pre-injuries, that's more interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So you think they're finishing third?
I do. I don't think their pitching is going to hold.
I think they're finishing second. I think we've done Phillies, or I think the Phillies are going to win the division.
I think the Braves are going to win the division.
Well, I'm glad you say that. Let's get to the Braves.
Yep.
Let me talk you through why I've got Atlanta in third. Acuna is going to come back.
May-ish?
What is he going to look like?
Yeah.
How much? What kind of contribution are we going to get from him? Is it going to be a situation where he puts up, like, I don't know if he's stealing 60 bases. I don't think he can steal 30. And that's still very, very good. I'm not sitting here ignorant to that fact, but there's that aspect.
I don't think we'll get 2023 Acuna this year.
No, but what comes down to it is how real is Profar? What is Orlando Arcia? Their bench.
Will Michael Harris play 140 games?
Yes. Having said these things, I love Drake Baldwin.
The talent.
I think Drake Baldwin may take Sean Murphy's job. We talk about contracts and all that. When you're the Braves and you've, what's a polite word I can use here? Fooled players into signing for less money than what they're
worth. Fleeced.
Scammed. Braves fans in the comments. It's Cope. Yeah.
No, you should be happy about this. This is good for your franchise. You have scammed players into taking team-friendly deals.
Juan Soto to the Pirates and MLB The Show caliber scamming.
For like 7 years, 140.
Yes, that is the kind of scamming we're referring to. It's very impressive. It is very impressive.
Anthopoulos has done a great job of locking down talent.
Correct. Anthopoulos Island is real. The rotation, I really like the 2 through 4. I'm throwing a little water on Chris Sale. I had a really interesting conversation with a close friend of mine where we talked about, again, this gentleman is a White Sox fan, important preface. But he said going into 2025 that he would prefer Chris Sale over Jacob deGrom, which I find interesting. And here,
I think I'd take whoever throws more innings.
Well, that's the cheater's answer. It's about guessing who will do that this year.
Yeah.
So for me, my argument with this is that when you look at a guy that has had an injury history, and I believe it might be Justin Mason on Sleeper in the Bust for Fangraphs that talks about this, that I really ascribe to. I don't care what the results were at the end of the year for more veteran pitchers that have had injury problems. It's, did they end the year healthy? And did they have a normal offseason? Did they just get to be who they are and be normal? Because that's where you run into potential issues. Chris Sale did not do that. If you guys remember, he was scratched from their do or die doubleheader.
Yep.
He was unable to play. Did not pitch in the playoffs. Probably would not have been healthy to do so. Did he only miss the first 3 weeks of his normal offseason? Yeah, but he had to stay in Atlanta. He's openly admitted this in interviews. He had to stay in Atlanta for a few extra weeks. Is it a massive deal? It could not be, but it could be. And when I compare him to someone like DeGrom, where DeGrom is like a Disney Channel, like it's not Disney Channel, it's like a Disney movie where he's like smelling flowers and he's like, his feet are fluttering off the ground. And every interview is like, finally, I had a normal offseason and I can just be me. And he goes out and he's like, I'm only going to throw 96 because, I could throw 100 every time, but I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm only just going to paint 96 with beautiful shape. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, like, I also think like DeGrom might be better this year, but Sale is still going to be good. And like,
yes, the question is always how good.
Yeah, I think he's going to be very good. And I think he might not be healthy the whole year, but I think he's going to be enough for them to, like, if he gets hurt, Strider can just step in and be what Sale was going to be for the rest of the year. So, and the thing is, the Braves are just pumping out aces. So, like, they have Schwellenbach, who is, like, an elite pitcher now. Just, like, out of nowhere. He's just elite. Like, he's just unreal. Like, he's probably top 15 starting pitcher in baseball right now after
Smith
being a no-name.
Smith was also so nice. Not talked about.
Yeah. And
let me ask
I'm
you this,
sad
though.
because my hometown guy got traded, who I thought was going to have a comeback year, Ian Anderson.
That is
Good
tough.
luck in Anaheim, Mr. Shenandoah
Fingers
High
crossed
School.
for you, Ian. Let me ask you this, though, Drew. We're throwing water on Hunter Green for 2025, right? Where we're like, he cut his homer rate in half. You can't just do that again. That's what Chris Sale did in 2024.
Well, yeah, but that's also after he missed 2 consecutive years with injuries.
Not true, but I'm just pointing out, like, he pitched to very similar results that he did the last time he was fully healthy.
Well, also, Atlanta's a very less homer-friendly ballpark than Boston is, to be sure.
True, but also when your career rate, though, I mean, I know Sox is a little hitter-friendly as well, but, like, I don't know. I'm just
saying, as a lefty, when you're playing in Fenway where righties can pop a ball up and it gets out, it's a lot easier to give up, cheapy home runs.
For a guy who he literally halved his homers per 9 last year.
You know? I don't think he'll be as good as he was last year, but I don't think he'll have to be, considering they're going to have Strider back at some point, which is a big boost.
Yeah, the question is when.
Yeah, because we thought it was
going to be he's throwing rehabs and stuff now, but
yeah, could be a month, could be less, could be more, and
also I love their bullpen.
Their bullpen's really good.
Iglesias, Johnson, Bummer, Neris, Jose Suarez, I think is a great. Yep. We alluded to that trade earlier. The ultimate is that the peak change of scenery trade?
Yeah, both guys where it's peak. This guy has a shit ton of talent, but hasn't really been able to put it together for a few years.
Yeah, so I just have them third only not because their talent is third best. I just think the fully healthy Braves, that Death Star is not going to become fully operational in time to catch New York or Philly.
The Braves, I could easily see the Braves being a team that finishes third but goes into the playoffs on an upswing and has a really nice playoff run.
I think all three are very clearly playoff teams. It just when I look at how those three kind of shake out, it's just the Phillies are starting off with the best possible health.
Yeah, the Phillies rotation is just so good that I might be changing up I might be saying Phillies, Braves, Mets, because I think the Phillies rotation is just that good. Luzardo is your 5 right now, and you have Andrew Painter as your 6, waiting in the wings for somebody to get hurt. And you have Christopher Sanchez, who I think is
it'll
unreal.
be, by some act of God, it'll be, who's a good trade candidate name I can just pull right now. It'll be Ryan Feltner, of course. There you go. There's a rando name to pull. I was just like, who's on a bad team that is probably
Herman Marquez.
I don't think he'll ever be healthy enough to be a trade deadline acquisition, sadly.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that wraps the NL East. So, all right, we'll go 5 through 1. I will say Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nats, Marlins. All top 3 make the playoffs.
I'll go Phillies first, Braves second, Mets third, Nationals 4th, Marlins 5th.
I think that this is one of those divisions where if you put any of the top 3 in any of the 3 spots, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.